Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So too we begin embroidery. My name is Shirley Stewart and I'm glad that you're here to have a little chat with me today. Today I'm going to talk about hoops. On a prior video I did mention the trials and tribulations that I've had with hooping, and it's not my favorite thing to do. But unfortunately, it is something that is 100% absolutely necessary to do if you're going to embroider. So what I'm going to do today is go over several different types of hoops and explain them, and also talk a little bit about how you can hoop a little easier certain projects. So let me get started with the single needle hoop set that I have. As I mentioned, I do have the Brothers SE 1900 sewing and embroidery machine, and that particular machine came with a set of 4 hoops in various sizes. It actually came with the standard 5x7 hoop, and the standard 4x4 hoop, and then a smaller hoop which is around 2.14 by 1¼ inch, something like that. And this particular hoop is good if you're going to be hooping to do monograms on a sleeve or a handkerchief or a napkin or something small, then or a very tiny embroidery design. This is a good size. I personally haven't used it, but I do intend to use it. So those are the standard size hoops that normally come with a regular sewing machine. If you have a embroidery machine, and if you only have the 4x4 embroidery machine, then this is the standard size for that. And I think it does also come with the little hoop. So what I've done, which is recommended if you're interested in going a little bit larger than the 5x7, is to get an aftermarket set of hoops that you can get off of Amazon. That's where I got mine. And what it does, it will give you an additional 5x7, so that means that you'll end up with 2, which really works out well if you have a business, because you can hoop one and get the other one ready. So by the time you're done with this particular design, you can take it off and put the next design on and start hooping, and then re-hoop this one and keep going continuously if you're doing multiple designs or multiple products, like jackets or t-shirts or what have you, and they have the same design. You need to do 10 of them, 20 of them, 5 of them, whatever. Then if you have 2 hoops of the same size, it allows you to be a little bit more productive. So if you buy that aftermarket hooping system, you will end up with 2 of the 5x7. The other thing that would be a reason to get it is that you get a 5x10 inch, what they call an extension, I believe, where you can actually split your design and make it larger. You will be able to do the 5x10. Now, your machine is not going to do anything larger than a 5x7 unless you get a hoop like this. And it has 3 different notches on here, so you'll have to have an embroidery software that is set up and allow you to do a split design. And when you get it set up in your software, the design will stitch to a certain point. Then it will tell you to take the hoop off and move it to the next notch, so you'll be able to continue your stitching all the way down until you end up with a larger design and utilize this big frame. So that is what is very useful with a single needle machine. And I'm going to show you another set of hoops that I got to use with my single needle machine. And again, as I said, I don't like to hoop. It was pretty difficult for me initially because, one, I didn't know what I was doing, and two, with arthritic hands, it's a little bit hard to get the, well, it was at that time. I'm a lot better, but it was so hard for me to actually get it hooped in to the hoop and then put the top one on there and press it down and make sure it's in there tight and all of those things. That was so hard for me. It took me a long time to get that done. And you also have to make sure that you have it measured and lined up correctly. And we'll talk about that in another video about those kinds of things. But with all of that in mind, you had your fabric and you had your stabilizer, and then you had to get both of those into the hoop and press it down and lock it, and it was just really difficult for me. So with that being said, I went looking for something that would be a little bit easier, and what I found were these magnetic hoops where you actually don't have to lock it down with the top one. What you do, it comes with a set of high power magnets. Now I think you get, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you get 4 of them for this small one, which is a 4x4, and then you get 6 magnets with this one, which is the 5x7. So it allows you to basically put the material, let me kind of show you a little bit. This is the 4x4. This is actually a stabilizer, and you would put the stabilizer on here. You would put the fabric on top of the stabilizer, a piece of fabric here, and then you would place the hoop in strategic places on your hoop and put it into your machine. Here has the notches, and you hooped it down, and it's not going to come off. And if you hoop it tight enough with the magnets, because I usually use as many magnets as I can on mine, since I do have a set of 10, to make sure everything is in place and that I get that good drum sound like you're supposed to, and then hoop on top of it. This is kind of like a floating, since you're not locking it down with the top, but it works extremely well. Now these hoops run around $50 or so per hoop, but they work. And when I'm using my single needle machine, 90% of the time now, I do use these hoops, especially if I'm doing something that is thick, like towels or end of a blanket or something that is going to be thick and difficult to hoop with a regular hoop. For me, something like this that I have to actually put the 2 pieces together. As we know, we have to put it into this one, and then you got to get this one on there, and actually you put this one on there and you have to get it on here, and then you have to get it tightened with the screw, and all of the material and the stabilizers inside of this. That's a daunting task for me. So like I said, for me, what worked out really well were these magnetic hoops that are available again on Amazon. So that is my hoops that I use for my single needle machine. Now the other hoops that I will be discussing are all for multiple needles machines. You cannot use them on your single needle machine. They do not fit, so, and they're not made for that. So with my 10 needle machine, I did get a set of 4, which I got the small one, again, that you can use for initials and monograms and stuff, and this is the 2.4 by 1.65. Then you get your standard 4x4. You get your standard 5x7. And the largest hoop size that my machine will take is an 8 by 14. And so, as you can see, this is pretty large. They do have a jumbo hoop, which is 14 by 14, which would be double this size. I haven't gotten that yet, but I'm very happy to know that they do have a larger hoop available, and you do have to use the software to do the splitting of your designs, because it'll do half, and then you turn it around, and then you do the other half. And that's with the 14 by 14 jumbo hoop that I don't have. And my multimeter machine is a Brothers Entrepreneur Pro PR 1055X. That's what I have. And I love that little machine. So that's that. And what I really, really like is the Mighty Hoop. I know you probably have heard about the Mighty Hoop system. And to get the system to start, the package is around $550. And it comes with several different hooping stations. Now I have the small station on display, and the other larger station that is for shirts is in my sewing studio. So it's much larger than this. And it has, the mechanism is a peg mechanism where you can adjust the size according to the size of the shirt and where the neckline falls. And it's a numbering and lettering system. And I will show that to you on one of my other videos coming up. And once you do that, and you could actually, the purpose of it is to be able to be consistent with your hooping if you're doing left chest logos or any type of logo on multiple shirts. Once you get the number system correct, the letter plus the number, then when you're hooping the other shirts that you're using the exact same size design, all you have to do is just put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, you know, and not have to redo the measurements and everything. So it makes it a lot quicker. But let me show you a little bit how this works. So I'm going to bring it over just a little bit to ensure it is in the shot, because I don't want to show you something that you actually cannot see. Okay, so I know it should be in the shot. Now this is the 5 by 5, and it is it comes with the system that is around $150, as well as this docking station, and again, like I said, a larger docking station. And I've used this size primarily for my mask. Once I got my 10 needle machine, I was doing most of them on of course, my single needle machine. 99% of them were done on that machine until I actually got the 10 needle machine. And so once I got the 10 needle machine, I was able to get this system and use the Mighty Hoop, magnetic. These are magnetic hoops. They stick together very tightly. And there are warning signs that come. It's a pinch hazard, so you have to be very careful of your fingers. It is also, they have a warning that says keep away from computer and disk and hard drives because it is magnetic. Also, if you have a pacemaker, do not use this. And keep it away from electronic devices and credit cards, debit cards, or what have you, because you know magnets will demagnetize those cards. So that's the warning statements that come on all of the Mighty Hoops. So please take that into consideration. So once you get ready to do your hooping, you will put the bottom one in, and the side that has the writing on it goes down. You will put it in your hooping system. The next thing that happens is you put your stabilizer, and this is, I forgot the size of this, the exact size, but you can get them pre-cut. I'll find that out when we talk about stabilizers on my next video. I will make sure I give you the exact size. But this is what I use, this size is what I normally use for my face mask that I do. I get this in black and I get it in white, depending upon the color of the mask. So you put this on top of your bottom piece. You lay it in there like that, and you put the flaps down. That locks it in place. Well, actually, you do that, and then you put your fabric in. Okay. It's a little big, but this is just for the demo. And you lock it in place. Then you put this on top, and they have the little grooves here that it sits in, and all you have to do is press it down like that and take it off, and the drum, it is perfectly hooped. So as you can see, this is a time saver, a lifesaver, well worth the money, especially for me, because it eliminated me having to use these other hoops. The only caveat is they're not cheap, and you have to get different sizes if you're doing different things. But I was able to do most of my work with the 3 sizes that I have, and I'll show you what the other 2 sizes. But this is the lifesaver. And on our next video, when I talk about stabilizers and everything, I'm going to bring out the other one, which is much larger, and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let me move that out the way, and I'll move these out the way. And I did forget to mention on the single needle machine, this little hoop right here, I got this to hoop caps. Now, there are people that use this and have been successful. I just have to be honest, I couldn't use it. I did not know how to use it. It didn't work for me, so I really wasn't able to be successful with hooping a cap on a single needle machine. But please do not fret thinking that that's not possible, because it is possible. It's a skill you have to learn, and I guess I just wasn't patient enough to learn it. So, but this is on Amazon as well, and I do know it works because I've seen videos of people that actually have this or one similar to this, and they are actually embroidering on caps on their single needle machine. So that is something that is possible to do. So I'm just going to show you the sizes that I have of my other Mighty hoops. This is a 9x8, and I use this a lot with children's shirts. I have used the 5x5 with onesies. I've been able to do that. I've been able to hoop almost anything I want that I need for a larger size with this particular size. And if I want to really go bigger, then this is the largest Mighty hoop that will fit on my machine. And that's another thing that you have to keep in mind. If and when you're going to be buying Mighty hoops, you need to know what is the largest hoop size, or the size or the particular Mighty hoop that is for your machine. Because the brackets is what makes it usable per machine, as well as the size, because the largest size that my machine will allow is an 8x14. This is a 8x13, and this is the largest they have. They don't have an 8x14. So this is what will fit on my machine, and I do use it because I love it. And blankets, anything, jacket backs. I've done several jacket backs, and I've used this on my 10 needle machine, and it works wonders, and I love it. So I am praising Mighty Hoop. They're not sponsoring me. I'm just telling you what I've used and what works and what I like. Okay. I'm going to talk about another hooping system. that is also convenient, and that is what we call a fast frame. Now this set allows you to do basically floating of your project. You have to get the system that fits your machine. This one does not fit my new machine, so I'm actually trying to sell it. But the arm is what's important. It has to work with your machine and the setup in order for it to clear when it's moving. You know how your pentagram moves around. So you use peel and stick stabilizer that you put on here, and you put that on the bottom of your frame, and there are multiple different sizes that comes with the machine, with this fast frame set. And you can go to fast frame and check that out. You can Google it and see what's available. But what I do recommend is that you speak with the company that you're going to buy it from to make sure that you're selecting the correct arm system that's going to fit your machine. And see, this is the system that I have. And like I said, it's you use peel and stick stabilizer, put that on the bottom, then you put your fabric or your blank, whatever you're doing, on top and just adhere it to the sticky part of your stabilizer, and then you put it into the machine and it works. If it's a little heavy or something, you might want to pin it, but we'll talk about that because you have to be very careful if you're going to pin. But I just wanted to show you that this is another hooping system that really works well, and I love it because it eliminates the need to have to do the hooping that I so hate. And so with Mighty Hoop and Fast Frame, I'm in heaven. I don't have to do all of this pushing down and everything with my hands to keep it, you know, I don't want to hurt. And I just wanted to show you a little bit. This is just a little piece of sticky peel and stick stabilizer, and it peels apart. This right here is the sticky part, and this is the part that goes to the bottom of the, you put it on, you put it on like this, and it will adhere to it. And you have to trim it down and everything, and some people fold it over, some people clamp it. That's a good idea, because if you fold it over, then the adhesive gets on these metal sides, and it's unsightly for one, and you have to constantly clean it off and everything so the new sheets will adhere. So, and then once you put this on, since it's sticky, all you have to do, and I don't have another piece of fabric, well actually I have a towel, so this helps. You can take the towel, if you're going to do a monogram or whatever, and you can stick it on here, and see, it'll stick on. Now, I wouldn't use this little bitty frame here for this big towel unless I actually pinned it, because of the weight. It doesn't really adhere that well, but as you can see, it's holding on because it's attached to that sticky side. And then you just peel it off when you're done. So that's peel and stick stabilizer that you use with the fast frame. So there's a couple of more items I just want to show you, and to just give you an idea of some things that helps me or can help you in hooping. This is a hoop mat, and it's silicone, so be very careful not to cut it, because I know from experience you can forget if it's sitting on your cutting board and you're trying to hoop something, and then you go back, and I cut my other one, so now I have this one that I'm not going to cut. But the purpose of this is if you're actually doing the traditional hooping with a hoop when you put your frame down and you're pushing in here to get this down, and it gets a little hard because you got to push and everything. I don't even have fabric or anything, and then you see I had to push hard. It doesn't move. It holds your hoop in place. So it allows you to do it a little bit better because you're not chasing the hoop around on the table or the surface that you're using. So this is a lifesaver. I love this, and I do use it when I'm using my regular hoops. It is a product that is sold by Dime, D-I-M-E, which is designed in machine embroidery. You can go directly to their site, or you can go to your favorite sewing machine site that's online and see if they are selling it. But this runs about $20 on sale, and it is I do recommend it if you're interested in a tool for hooping that's going to make hooping a little bit easier. And this I'll talk about a little later, more extensively in my stabilizing video. But I just wanted to tell you about this. Again, this is Dime's product, and it is what they call an embroiderer's compass. And what it does, it's a wheel. You know what fabric you have, like if you're having, say, denim. This is polyester. Okay, this is polyester up here. So if you got satin or polyester, you line up the arrows, and then in this little square, it tells you what is the best stabilizer to use for that particular fabric. It will also tell you what needle you need on certain. So this is something that I do recommend. Down here it will tell you the needle type, the needle size that works well with the stabilizer with the fabric. So this, I think, is a very useful tool, and it is Dime as well, and I think this runs about $25, $20 to $25, depending upon whether or not it's on sale. So those are the things that I just wanted to present to you today. The different types of hoops that I use, why I use them, and the benefit. So I hope this is something that is of use to you. So please come back for some more information. Subscribe, please subscribe. Please share and ask your friends to subscribe as well. Hit the like button and come back over and over again as I put out new videos. And we too shall sew till we will begin embroidery and learn together. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you at my next video. Goodbye.